Okay, so you're saying just eat the blue mushroom and I'll grow. Hello? The call's breaking up. I can't hear you. Oh, okay, fine. I'm assuming it's eat the blue mushroom and I'll level up. I'll like kind of get bigger, right?
One humongous meal later.
Okay, so clearly the blue mushroom means I turn into my mini form, and the red mushroom means I grow, so I'm really tiny right now. Trust me, can the camera pan down? Okay, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to work on getting the camera situated and growing back up, but let's get into my review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie right now. Oh my gosh. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and yes, I'm back to my normal self because I'm excited to talk to you today about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. A huge thank you to Universal Pictures for giving me the chance to watch this with about 20 other press members in advance of its release date in theaters, which is April 1st. Y'all, I'm a big Super Mario fan. I haven't beaten Galaxy, but I did play and beat Odyssey, and if you're a fan of both of those games, I think you're going to enjoy this film. Now, before we get into my full review, spoiler-free of course, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and yes, all the news in between. So if you do too, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, join the family, and let me know in the comments below if you are excited for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, because I'm someone who thought the first one was enjoyable. It had some issues, you know, things that I'm hoping they rectify and do better with in the sequel, but I enjoyed the first one for the most part. You can find that review on the channel too. But this one, there's some promising elements here, and in some ways it's even better than the first. The film is directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. There's also a couple of co-directors as well, and the film stars an ensemble voice cast led by Chris Pratt as Mario, and Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Donald Glover as Yoshi, Jack Black as Bowser, and even Benny Safdie, a director you're familiar with, I'm sure, who voices Bowser Jr. Now, the movie, for all intents and purposes, is a true sequel, so it does help watching the first film. It tries to catch you up with some exposition dumps, but I feel like watching the first is going to help you sort of ease into this one. There's some new elements, of course, so the story, without spoiling anything, is basically this. Mario and Luigi continue their galactic adventures together in fixing pipes, while Rosalina, a new princess, is captured by Bowser Jr., who's on a quest to free his father and rule the galaxy. Now it's up to Princess Peach, the Super Mario Brothers, and every friend made along the way to stop Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s plans before it's too late. Now, before even heading into my screening, there were 3 things I wanted to see them improve on with this sequel. Number 1 was a wider range of inspired voice acting. I did not think Anya Taylor-Joy and a few others were very good in the first film, so I was hoping that we got there in the sequel. Now, the second thing was eliminating as many unnecessary needle drops as possible. I'm sorry, the music, the actual soundtrack for the first film, was pretty bad and poorly executed. And the third thing, a story that is more engaging. Now, there are some things we got and some we didn't. But I want to remain positive here because it is time for the positives for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And I'm happy to say, you guys, I came out of this mainly positive. This is a nostalgia-fueled quest for fans who just want to sit down for nearly 2 hours, not turn off their brains, but at least have a comfortable watch while remembering a large part of their childhood. And granted, there's going to be a ton of kids that haven't played either Super Mario Galaxy or Odyssey or any of the other Super Mario games that will enjoy this. But for me, the adult in the room, I actually found myself doing that, smiling. And I didn't clap, but I was still like, oh, this is really cool. And yes, Yoshi's super cute. So all the new additions to this film do aid it and help make it feel like more of an experience and less of a, I don't know, just a copy-paste of the first film. And speaking of new additions, I want to talk about some voice actors and actresses that did a really darn good job here. Number 1, Donald Glover nailed it as Yoshi. When he was announced, I could not believe what I was seeing and reading, because Donald Glover as Yoshi, how could that work? Well, Donald Glover is very he's very good at what he does. He's a good actor. He's a good musician. So I feel like the talent was bound to sort of manifest itself in a voice acting role. And that it did, because man, did Yoshi sound cool in this movie. You can hear Donald Glover's voice, of course, but it was so fun, and you could just tell he was having fun in the booth, and it bled onto the screen. You also have one of his co-stars, Brie Larson, who's voicing Princess Rosalina, and she has more limited screen time than I thought she was gonna have. Like, she doesn't have as many lines, guys. So if you're coming into this thinking it's going to be a Rosalina movie, you are probably going to be disappointed. But I did not think that. However, I kind of wish she had more screen time because she was very good. There was such a contrast between her and Anya Taylor-Joy, both the princesses in this movie, and you could just tell it was like night and day. And for Bowser Jr., there were moments where I even forgot it was Benny Safdie voicing the character. And that is rare. The only other actor in this movie that I could say actually is putting on a voice, or two actors really, is Keegan-Michael Key as Toad and Kevin Michael Richardson as the little henchman for Bowser and Bowser Jr. with the Koopas. So it was really well done. Benny Safdie does a good job, and I actually liked that he didn't get too over the top, because there were moments where there was some emotionality put into the roles where it's like father and son moments. And yeah, Benny Safdie and Jack Black did well bouncing off one another. And of course you have your returners, right? Chris Pratt and Charlie Day as Mario and Luigi respectively. Guys, I'm going to be the first one to eat crow every time I talk about these movies, but I never thought that Charlie Day and Chris Pratt could do a good Luigi and Mario, but they do. And man, it works. They actually toned down the Mamma Mias in this movie, and I'm actually glad. I say it enough when I'm in traffic or I'm walking around the house, but Mamma Mia, I am happy with what they delivered. It was good enough too. In some instances, you don't need the heavy, thick Mario accent. He's got a little bit of his own voice for Mario, and Charlie Day has his little voice for Luigi. I would say that sometimes they do just sound like themselves, but for the most part, it works well within the context of the film, and they were still funny together. I don't know. I'm just so shocked still that they do a good job. Now, when it comes to the action set pieces, because of course this is a blockbuster film, it's a popcorn movie, people are going to come to this, parents especially, or guardians, babysitters, and they're going to want to see some cool action moments because the story's still a little thin. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I liked the action set pieces even more and thought they did an even better job than the first film. I think it's because of the subject matter. Super Mario Galaxy is a game that is very big in scale. There's a lot of unique planets you can visit. It is a cool game. I really, really enjoy it. Now, in this film, they take those elements and it actually is really cool to see. I think the animation is gorgeous. Again, Illumination's animation is hit and miss for people, but for these movies so far, it has been working for me. And there's even a casino sequence where it actually plays to the traversal elements of Super Mario Galaxy. And you see like Peach and Toad walking upside down and then having to walk sideways to get to another area. It's really cool. And that's what I like about this movie even more than the first, is that it feels a little bit more innovative and they're taking a little bit more leaps forward in terms of creativity. And if you are a fan of the Super Mario franchise and even just Nintendo as a whole, you're going to love the Easter eggs in this film. Whether it be the composition by Brian Tyler, where he adds in some motifs we're used to, like for example, when they're in that casino sequence we just talked about, it was really cool to hear songs that you probably have heard before, one of them being, I believe, Jump Up Superstar from Odyssey. And then you have Gusty Garden being the motif you hear basically throughout the whole movie, and I'm so sorry y'all, but I love that song. The music overall was pretty sublime at times and really added to that nostalgic feeling. It was a treat for me. I really loved how the music was composed here. And yes, even though the needle drops were annoying in the first act where you had the generic soundtracks and you're like, whatever. There was one instance that I thought it was fine, which was there was a song by Biggie that played. But other than that, it didn't really work for me, but thank God after the first 30 minutes, they departed from that for the most part, and we got more of the composition by Brian Tyler. So you have those Easter eggs in terms of the music, but then you have visual Easter eggs, the Nintendo stuff, the N64 stuff. It's so cool, all right? I really liked it, and that's the thing. You come to the movies for this stuff. Well, at least this movie, you come to it for this stuff. So I thought that it just added to the overall ride that we were taking on from the first minute all the way to the final minute. So we have a bit of a wider range of inspired voice acting. They eliminated as many generic needle drops as possible, thankfully. But what about the story? Okay, so this is going to be like half positive, half negative, right? The half positive for the story is I appreciated that they actually tried to characterize Bowser and Bowser Jr. as father-son strained relationship, or hey, they had a strained relationship, he was sort of present as a father, and the son is now trying to impress his father. We've seen it before. But I liked that they actually sort of trended in this direction, because it was a little bit like a breath of fresh air compared to the first movie, which did not do anything like this. So I do appreciate that element thrown into the story, right? The half negative, well, I guess this is where we get into the negatives now, huh? Alrighty, so let's hit that power-up block and transition to the negatives for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Yes, the story is a teeny bit better than the first film, but overall, it still sort of coasts at times and isn't as engaging as I think it really could be for both adults and a younger audience alike. If the screenwriter dove a little bit deeper into the father-son relationship, into Princess Rosalina, and basically having to save her home, we would have had a better experience. At least I would have had a better time, because yes, there are the clear and obvious scenes where this is just filler. And I didn't love that. That happens a lot in the second act of the movie. So it's then where I thought, okay, visually cool, story-wise not so great. So that's the issue I had with the first film. Now, I also feel that even though we did get a good slew of new voice actors and actresses who did a very good job, I'd say, we also got some additions and some returners that didn't really hit the mark for me. Anya Taylor-Joy was definitely somebody who I thought didn't do the best job as Princess Peach in the first film. In the sequel, she's still not doing a good job, in my opinion. It just feels like it's only her voice, and she's very one-dimensional, especially in comparison to Brie Larson as Princess Rosalina. Brie Larson, more dynamic. Anya Taylor-Joy, less so. She's not giving exactly what she needs to be giving in this role. And I think there are times where she's in peril. You don't really feel that in her voice. She's excited. You don't feel that in her voice. She's frustrated. She still sounds the same. So if she's sounding the same in all three areas and quadrants of her life, what are we really doing here? So I didn't really like her too much in her performance in the sequel. But she's not alone, guys, because there's a reveal in this movie that was already spoiled by the studio, and I don't know why they did that, because if they didn't, it would have been the coolest reveal in the movie, and that is Fox McCloud. That's right, Star Fox himself, man. He's in the film, we know this, but it is a cool reveal. When it happened, I would have fallen out of my chair if they would have just saved this reveal, you guys, for the film. Instead, they spoil it like a week before screenings, and it was so frustrating because I had a feeling this was the big reveal. And it was, okay? Now, when it comes to the voice acting, Glenn Powell, a very capable actor, okay? I liked him in pretty much everything I've seen him in. Here, man, I just think he's a bit miscast. And if maybe he's not miscast, it's just poorly directed, because his voice work is really just... It's just Glenn Powell. He tries to be cool at times, you know, the whole Han Solo type of vibe. It just doesn't really work for me. He's giving a lot of the, yes, I can do this, but I'm not fully there yet type of energy. And that's not good enough for the final film. I do think that they should have maybe worked or directed him better and worked with him more in this role, or just go a different direction. Because it just didn't work for me. the whole like cool, sort of suave type of vibe wears off very quickly. And I know this next negative is not necessarily a knock on the film, but it is something I was disappointed with, and that really is with the credits scenes. Listen, everyone was like hyping up the fact, oh my gosh, this could be cool. There could be 2, there could be 3, there could be cool cameos. Temper your expectations with the credit scenes. There's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. There's not 3, there's 2. And they're like not that necessary. I'm not saying what they are, of course, because I'm not allowed. But it's okay. I can see why people are going to speculate that they're building to something bigger. But I don't necessarily think that it was worth the hype. So please temper your expectations for the credit scenes. Don't let that kill your experience of the overall movie, because I do think this film is actually pretty darn enjoyable. And it is worth your time. Listen, it is a bit better than the first film. There are some elements that are still holding me back from giving it a whole half star more than the first film, which I gave a 3.5 mushrooms out of 5 to. This one, I'm in between 3.5 to 4 lumas out of 5. If you don't know what a luma is, you're going to learn about it in this movie. Cute little star things. My gosh. But the film does some things much better and some things just about the same as the first movie. I do wish that maybe they cast some actors a bit differently in this film, but I'm not entirely upset with the returners and a lot of the newcomers that were added to the film. Glenn Powell and Anya Taylor-Joy aside, I do think that they tend to give more screen time to certain characters than others, and it works, and sometimes it just kind of falls a little flat. So the movie is mixed in some areas, but for the most part, I came out of it smiling. I enjoyed it. There were times where my nostalgia just overcame me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this song. And yes, I was in the car on the way home listening to Gusty Garden, composed by this guy. I think his name is Carlos Ian, I believe his name is. He's really good at composing Nintendo melodies, but the music is very good. The animation is awesome. The action set pieces are even better than the first movie, and I do think that Chris Pratt and Charlie Day are very funny together. They're very good in this movie. And Yoshi's awesome. Rosalina's cool. Bowser Jr. and the Bowser dynamic works for the most part. So this movie does actually warrant your time. And that's why I think that this film is going to do great at the box office, because, yeah, it's not great. It's not terrible, but it's good. I liked it. And that's the thing. This movie is going to have legs. It is releasing this week. It's Holy Week. Easter is this weekend. Y'all know people are getting time off from work, so it's going to be a busy, busy week at the movies for these parents. Expect to buy 2 or 3 tickets for this film, y'all. But this movie definitely, as of now, I think I would still give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It could jump up to a 4 on a second viewing. I'll update you on whether that changes or not. But for the most part, y'all, I enjoyed the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But you let me know in the comments when you see the film what you think of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because we're about to get out of spring and into summer, and it's about to be a busy movie season, y'all. I'm super excited. We got Avatar: The Last Airbender live action on the way. It is going to be a fun time as well for TV. So get ready, lock in. Your boy's ready. I hope you are too. Alrighty, guys. Well, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys. And I'll catch you at the next screening. All right, who was the guy who told me to eat the blue mushroom? Hey, bud. Yeah, I shrunk the last time. What color am I supposed to? No, blue shrunk me. I need to eat the red, bro. Red.